BUS535 Cost Management, and just thought I'd show you around the class just a little bit here. So I've got our class open up in Student View. I just have it under our main page, and I have various handouts for now. A few more will get added as we move through the class, but I just wanted to let you know that under the handout section is the syllabus, which I've previously emailed. Cengage Now access instructions, basically the instructions to purchase Cengage Now, and the course code to get into our specific class. All the various PowerPoints for the chapters that we'll cover are here. And it has some information about cases here too, and we'll get into cases later on, but this is in a future discussion. I also have a blog. What you see here applies to my ground class, not the online class. I also have some bookmarks. I'll be recording lectures for each chapter, and they'll be out here when they're ready. I've got a link to the textbook companion site, a link to Cengage Now, and then a link to the ebook also. Then also I'm going to click on coursework and just show you that every week we'll have various assignments. The majority of assignments will be due in Cengage Now. We'll sprinkle in some other things. There'll be a few discussion boards. There'll be a few cases to work on also. But for this first week, I just have the first week assignments open in the coursework link right now. So this is just what you'll be doing due for June 24th. This information for chapters 1 and 2. Now, most chapters will have 3 things to work on in Cengage Now. They'll have homework, a quiz, and a required problem. For chapter 1, there's just a homework and a quiz. So that's just kind of the basic outlay of the class in my.usf. When you first get into Cengage Now, I'm not sure if my screen's a little bit different than it is because this is Instructor Resource Center, so I might have a few more links than a student does. But generally what you should find is something along the lines of where it says here Mind Tap Reader. That's basically your ebook, and I put in a link directly to the ebook in my bookmarks. So if I go back to main page and I'll just click specifically on bookmarks, and then you can see the ebook link is right there, plus the link to get into Cengage Now is right there. So if you get a screen kind of like this one, you can kind of drill into that to get into our class. So the ebook is right here. You can just click on the various chapters that we're working on, and I clicked something I shouldn't have there, but regardless, the ebook is right here. So you can take a look at that closer. Okay, so you do that. I'm not sure what I clicked on that I made. Oh, there it goes. There it is. It's right back. So you gotta be careful if you click on the. I'm just trying to click so I can scroll down, and I keep clicking the wrong thing. But anyway, the ebook is right here. You can get into it that way. This is your companion website for the book. You can go out here if you want to on your own, just some additional information just to help you learn. You can do some learning exercises, crossword puzzle, flashcard, glossary, true-false quiz, just things that you can do on your own to reinforce information. And most of the work that you'll be doing is in Cengage Now. There's really 3 types of assignments. Actually, there's 4 types of assignments in Cengage Now. Homework, which you'll have for every chapter, and the homework is worth 30 points a chapter. And you can say that it's unlimited number of submissions and a limited time. The point is I want you to keep working that homework and get the maximum points. So you can begin that, you can work on it, you can you can just keep on doing submissions and getting feedback until you get it right. The point is I want you to do those problems until you get them all right. You kind of learn by doing. Then there's quizzes. Quizzes are timed. They're 10 questions worth 1 point each. You get 1 chance, and there's 15 minutes, which really is plenty of time. If you've read the chapter and done some studying and then take the quiz, you definitely have time to look up answers if you're not sure. They're very much concept-based, definitions primarily. but 15 minutes is plenty of time, but 10 questions, 1 point each, 15 minutes. Then you have what I call a required problem for most chapters. Chapter 1 doesn't have one, but most do. These are number crunching. They're worth 20 points. Unlimited time, but you only get one submission, so you can't keep working it until you get it right. You basically just have one chance to work on it. The required problems is basically taking one of the problems from the homework with different numbers and then working it. So it's kind of like, don't take the required problem until you felt like you've done the homework enough that you understand it. Every chapter also has what I call a study guide, and it's limited for time. 10 submissions are allowed, and those are really on your honor. I don't require them. There's no points associated with doing them. There might be 1 point in the system just because I have to give it a point, but there's no points that are carry over to my.usf. But those study guides are really just there for you to practice, and I guess what I'll call a safe environment, because you can just work on them there. Doesn't matter if you get something wrong. Just work on it until you feel like you're comfortable with the material. Some people, I've done classes in Cengage now before. Some people spend a lot of time with them, some don't. There's no right or wrong to it. It's really just a matter of your comfort level with the material, with that chapter, and how much time you want to spend practicing problems that way before you begin to work on them for points. So it's just really kind of more of a as needed basis, or whatever you feel that you need, but I just want you to know that it's there in case you need it. And then click on Study Tools, and you'll find there's some good information here also. It's a little bit slow to load up, but you can do some exercises here if you'd like to. You can see there's stuff there for every single chapter of the class, so feel free to work on those items also. Okay, so that's just the basics of the class. I hope that made sense. I didn't mean to click on that one. These are just my other classes in Cengage now. But that's just kind of just a general overview of the class setup. Every week we'll have a live WebEx. Every week I'll send out kind of a reminder email regarding what's going on, and I'll post that same email in the blog that we have. So there'll be a blog, and the one thing I have there does not pertain to my online class. So if you're seeing this with the online class, just know there'll be something different there at the appropriate time. But it's kind of just a reminder of here's what you should be working on, anything that's been going on. If I'm kind of getting a common question or theme from students that I think I need to clarify something, I may post it in the blog also. But also know, I guess I'll just kind of say a little bit of pardon my mess this class, because I've taught this class a number of times at USF, and I've taught it previously at other universities at the grad level, but I've completely revamped it. I adopted a new book. I adopted Cengage now for the first time with this particular class, and so I'll just say a little bit of pardon my mess as I fine-tune it. So you're kind of my first go around with it this way. Hopefully it goes well, but if you've got questions, if you're not understanding something, whatever it is, please let me know. Email works great. Telephone is just fine. My cell number is 605-321-0092. You can call me, you can email me, you can text me. All those things are just fine and acceptable. And I should also actually cover the syllabus with you real quick here too. So let me go back to the main page. Let me open up the syllabus, which has been emailed previously, and just to kind of give you a feel the timing of the assignments for the class and when those will be due. This class is probably a little bit different than other ones, and that's going to be more quantitative in nature. You'll definitely spend a lot more time crunching numbers in this class than you have in other classes. So there's not as much writing in this class as you're probably used to in other classes. Maybe that's a nice break, possibly. Maybe you're okay with that. Some people aren't okay with that, and some are. But accounting is more quantitative in nature, obviously. So again, the syllabus I have here is relating really more to the ground class. But just know that it's there. Oops, I keep crunching the wrong things here. So let's go and You can see here that I've got some basic information, just kind of what the course objectives are, what the course description is, just kind of a lot of our MBA classes have the same basics in them in terms of expectations and things like that. And I expect you can read that on your own without me having to go through it. But let me just scroll down to the part where we've got all the different expectations for assignments. And so basically, and don't quote me exactly 100% on the points. I'm going to reserve the right to change that just a little bit. But there will be some case studies. The quizzes is in Cengage now. Chapter homework is in Cengage now. The required homework is Cengage now. There will be some exams. I don't have those active yet. They're out there, they're just hidden. They'll be brought to life at the appropriate time. And there'll be roughly 3 exams worth roughly 100 points each. I haven't, that might change just a little bit as I kind of review them and refine them. So don't quote me exactly on the points. And then there'll be a few forum discussions also. And those case studies, some of those points will come through submitting an individual case study. Some will be through more forums, a little bit of both. And then just the timing of the class, just as things will happen. And I wrote tentative just in case there needs to be some kind of adjustment to it, which potentially could happen. Week 1 is just the introduction, this is kind of the big picture background, diving into the first 2 chapters. Week 2 will be another 2 chapters, chapters 3 and 4. There is no class the week of July 1st. We try to give the week of the 4th off the best we can, so there's no class that week. And then you can see we're going to move on to chapter 5. And I've got some case studies in here. For the online class, I haven't necessarily decided if I'm going to use all of these yet. So just because there's a case study listed here doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to cover it. I might use some just for discussions during a live WebEx. Some will be assigned for points, and I may add or subtract what's here, but this is kind of just a general framework to start from, and just to give you a good idea. Those chapters, we will cover those chapters every week, and those tests I'll make available and do roughly around the due dates that you see there. And so there'll be 3 tests. You can see what chapters each one will go over. The tests will always be in Cengage now. You'll just take them there, and I just transfer the points over into my.usf. And you can see all the chapters that we'll cover then also. So hopefully that all makes sense for you. Hopefully it does. And again, if you've got questions, by all means, please let me know. I'm here to help you out. Thanks.